What is going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. Lots to talk about today. There is some bleeding going on in the market right now. It's not a crash. Don't panic. Don't sell. But there are lots of opportunities to buy right now. And I'm going to be going through the whole market, the whole sealed market, all of Sword and Shield, all of Scarlet and Violet. I'm going to be pointing out all these plays to you so that you have the best information that you can to make the best decisions and get the best deals. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Welcome, everyone, and let's get into it. Okay, before we jump completely into looking at all of the individual sets, I just want to quickly talk about Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames is out in just under 2 weeks' time, and it's going to be messy. It's going to be another split release, so there's not going to be enough product to go around. Obviously, if you could see any any Phantasmal Flames product for anywhere around MSRP or RRP, then it is an instant buy. I think that you will do really well with that. I think that Phantasmal Flames is going to perform better than Mega Evolution out of the gate. Long term, it's going to be difficult to see. It all depends on how much is printed, how much is available. But definitely in the short term, supply is going to be very limited. So be cautious about buying into it in like the first week or something at full market value. Not MSRP, that's an instant buy, but market value is going to skyrocket for the first couple of weeks, and what we're likely going to see is like what we saw with Mega Evolution, that as time starts to go on a couple of weeks, then you'll see the basement price. Yes, it will still be way over retail, but if you really want to time your way into the best way into Phantasmal and you can't find it on shop shelves, I would wait at least sort of 3-4 weeks for the market to settle down a little bit, and I think you'll be able to get it a little bit cheaper, but we'll just have to wait and see. Before I go into all of the sets as well and start off with Mega Evolution, which is on my screen right now, let's just briefly talk about what's going on in the market and recap what we've sort of said over the last couple of weeks. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been telling you that the most likely scenario is that we are close to the top of the market for now. We are seeing some pullbacks on some sets. Most likely we're going to see some sideways movement for the next couple of months, especially as we get closer to that Christmas period. I do think that it's temporary though, and when I say that the market is most likely to move sideways, that does not mean that prices stay exactly the same. That means when you average things out over the next couple of months, we're probably going to see some sideways price movement when we're looking at the hobby as a whole. However, certain sets, they're going to continue to climb. Certain sets that are slightly less desirable, I think that they're going to decline. And I think overall, we're going to see some shaky action upwards and downwards for most of the sets over the next couple of months. It is entirely possible and quite likely that some of the best sets will see some pullback in price. But like I said, I do think that's temporary and will only last a maximum of 8 to 10 weeks. And we can equally see things go the other way and those good sets continue to climb up in price because there's just not new supply of them hitting the market right now. So, in summary, I'm expecting to see some shaky roller coastery prices over the next couple of months. However, I think that the good sets will prevail, and going into the new year, we'll continue to start to pump all-time highs. I think that the sets that are slightly less desirable are going to price correct down to where they should be. And we're going to go into more detail on those sets and all of the sets as we go through these tabs in this episode, as always. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. If you've got the product, you've got the power. So do not let anyone else tell you what to do with your product. The whole idea of this channel is to compare US prices and UK prices. I am UK based myself, so I do go through UK prices too. But the primary focus is on the US market, as it is the biggest English Pokemon card market in the world. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully you'll get something from this channel. Full disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is just what I would do. if I were to buy into any of these sets. I'm giving you my personal opinions. It's your money on the line at the end of the day. Please be responsible when you are investing or buying or collecting or whatever. You know the deal by now. Right. Let's then get into Mega Evolution. Mega Evolution is seeing that sideways price action. It's down from its all-time high, but that's just because there's more stock on the market right now with second waves coming through. Mega Evolution is actually a fantastic set. I've opened up quite a bit of it myself. It is a really fun set to open up. It is probably one of my favorite base sets that's ever come out. Even though Mega Evolution is kind of like a mini era rather than a proper era like your Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, etc. But it is a really good set. There are those hard to hit chase cards as well that are very desirable and I think will continue to increase in price over time, particularly in the PSA 10s when we're looking at like the long-term horizon. And I think that will really help to influence and push up the price of the sealed product long term for Mega Evolution. I think that it's a really good investment, and I think that now is a good time to actually get into Mega Evolution as well. We've seen the majority of the stock hit the market now, but it's still floating around. There's a lot floating around on the secondary market for some pretty reasonable prices. And you've really got to just zoom out and look at the bigger picture with some of this sealed. Okay, now is one of the best times to buy Mega Evolution, purely for the fact that now in the market is when there's going to be the most of it around and the most of it being traded. As time goes on, that's just going to decrease, particularly once it starts to get that up there in age. We always talk about, 2 years, 2.5 years after the release date, you're starting to see it become sunset out of its print window, and it become very unlikely that it's going to get reprinted past that point. So Mega Evolution, I think, is actually an excellent time to buy in, and it's one of the products that I'm actively buying at the moment. And I'm talking about like right now. I've got booster boxes in the mail to me right now from eBay. I think that it's an excellent time to buy. Let's have a look at prices then. So last week it was averaging $263. This week it is averaging, well, last sale, 264, 264, 263. So it's just flat, but it's holding way over retail, which is really, really positive for such a new set as well. Last sold in the US, $260, so right on the nose. It's not moving in price, but that's not a bad thing. You've got to remember that this is a brand new set, and there's a lot of product being bought and sold all around. There's a lot of supply around, and that supply is only going to reduce over time as people put that away, and the majority of people are just ripping it as well. You've got to think how many people are ripping through these packs right now as we speak. The supply is just going down and down and down and down as days go by. I think that now is one of your best opportunities to buy into this set. Do I think that they'll print more in the future? 100%. But do I think that there will be more on the market in the future than there is right now? That I'm not so sure about. And that's why I think now is a really good time to buy into Mega Evolution. And that's why I'm buying into it right now as well. And I'm just slowly increasing my position. There's no rush to buy a lot of it. I'm just buying a few booster boxes here and there as that payday hits each month. I myself, I work my 9 to 5. This is just a hobby for me, doing all this YouTube stuff as well. So I get it. I'm not a high earner as well. So I'm just putting aside what I can afford each month and buying a box or two every now and again. So be warned that it's very easy to get caught up in the hype of all of these videos talking about buy this now, buy that now. Don't FOMO into these things. There's always going to be plays. And just do it when you're comfortable doing it with your financial situation. I'm always going to let you know the plays. I make these videos every 7 days on a Saturday. Subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. And then you'll be up to date on prices so that when you're ready to do your buying, you can use the knowledge from these videos to buy and get the best deal you possibly can. There we go. Speech over, story time over for now. Last sold in the UK, 250 quid. That is for the enhanced version, and that is actually really cheap in the UK for the enhanced version. They were earlier this week, and I know because I was looking at buying one, were going upwards of 270, 280 a box for the enhanced, but the normal version was going for 220. Now, I think someone was just making a play on them and just buying all of them out here in the UK. But like I said, you know, this 250 has gone up since then. New listing tag bought out straight away because someone is buying out all the minty enhanced ones in the UK. If you're not aware, US viewers, in the UK, the enhanced version is really rare to get. And they only really came from our Pokemon Center drop. The ones that actually hit store shelves and LCSs and stuff are all non-enhanced. Whereas it's kind of the opposite in the US. Everything is enhanced and has the box topper. If you're new to enhanced booster boxes, etc., you can tell that it's an enhanced one by this little red logo here, which indicates that there is an extra promo card inside, and it just becomes a little bit more desirable, particularly if you are in EU regions, because these are just a lot rarer. The actual non-enhanced versions are going for 220. Yeah, there we go. Last sold 219 here in the UK. I've actually been buying in this week for 220 as well. I think that that's a really good deal. You're talking about what, just over 50 quid over retail for nice minty boxes, and there's a lot of choice. 220 seems to be the agreed price point here in the UK. I think it's a pretty good deal if you're willing to put it away long term like myself. Okay, let's move on then to Destined Rivals. Destined Rivals is currently neck and neck with Paldea Evolve for the most expensive booster box in Scarlet and Violet. We did call it quite a while ago on the channel that Destined Rivals will overtake Paldea Evolved as the most expensive box at some point soon. And they are like neck and neck right now. There's only like $5 between it. And I think that you're going to start to see that gap slowly open up over time, because you really need to remember that Destined Rivals is so much older than Paldea Evolved now. Paldea Evolved came out in, if I had to guess off the top of my head, it's like end of 2023, something like that. Like, think about that for a moment. Like I always say on this channel, time goes by so fast in this hobby when you're sealed collecting. I always say, you know, be prepared to put things away for at least 2 years, and that's like at an absolute minimum. And 2 years can seem like a lot when you're new to putting away product, but 2 years goes by so fast. Paldea Evolved has been out for, surely it's been out for over 2 years now. Let's just have a look, because I want to fact check myself live here. Paldea Evolved release date. It's got to be over 2 years now, right? Yeah, look, June 9th, 2023. So it's nearly 2.5 years old, Paldea Evolved. So that's kind of crazy that the chances of Paldea Evolved reprints are slim to none at the moment, particularly for the booster boxes. Even if we see reprints for it, it's going to be so minimal that it's barely going to affect the price. And the fact that Destined Rivals, which is such a new set, is like rivaling that for like the most expensive box in the era, it's kind of nuts, to be honest. I've said for a long time, even since before release, that Destined Rivals is the one. It is the top set. It is the big boy when you're looking at booster box sets in Scarlet and Violet. And that's a very important caveat, because there's some insane holiday sets in Scarlet and Violet. They really smashed it with the holiday sets, with your Prismatic, your 151, your Paldean, Fates, that kind of thing. But as far as booster box sets go, I think that Destined Rivals is the king, and it just needs time to run, guys. It's had no time to run, and I'm telling you, stock is drying up of booster boxes already. Are they going to reprint it? Most likely. Yeah, there's probably going to be more Destined Rivals hit the market. But I don't think it's going to matter, guys. When you're looking long term, when you're looking 2 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years plus, there's no way that $378 a box isn't going to seem like a fantastic deal. Like, in 10 years from now, that could easily be 10x. That could easily be over 3k a box. It could be 30x a box in 10 years time. It really could. It's got the potential to do that kind of thing. But who knows where Pokemon's going to be in 10 years time, because what's really important as well to understand is Pokemon is obviously cyclical, okay? So it goes in cycles between hype or bubble, whatever people want to call it, and crash or lower demand in the market. That's what it does. I myself have been doing this nearly 10 years, putting away sealed product, and I've lived through, I think this is what, third hype cycle. So I've seen it come and go, the hype and the demand in the hobby, and it happens over and over again. But what people don't realize and people don't comment is it's not just a straight up and down over the years. The waves are getting bigger. Like the hype cycles, the bubbles, whatever you want to call it, are getting bigger and bigger each time. This time around, this hype cycle, this bull run, as you will, has been bigger than anything we've ever seen before. And I think that honestly, collectibles as a whole, with Pokemon leading the charge, is going to be in a whole new era over the next 10 years. I mean, I don't like to speculate too far into the future because who knows how the next 10 years is going to go. But I honestly think Pokemon's just getting started. And these are the sets that were there at the very beginning. These are the sets that people are going to remember and look back in 10 years' time and say, this is where it all started. I super believe that. I really, really do. And that's why I'm stacking sealed product to the ceiling right now. Doesn't matter whether we're at the top of the market, bottom of the market, A, B, B. I'm always buying. I always be buying. It's honestly as simple as that. There's so much like talk and discussion, even on these videos, about trying to time the market, and maybe if I wait an extra 3 months I can get this for $10 less because there might be a reprint. It's really not that complicated. Like, you can try and time the market, but honestly, patience just wins over everything. If you put this stuff away and look after it for years, it will reward you, and it will reward you so much that it will surprise you. It really will. Okay, let's go into prices then. We're going off on a tangent again. We're going off on story time. People who are familiar with the channel will know I have a habit of doing that. That's why these videos on a Saturday, each and every Saturday, tend to go on a little bit further, because look, we're on set number 2 that we're looking at, and we're already chatting away as we usually do. Some of you guys really enjoy that. I love to hear down in the comments if you enjoy story time. But I promise we will focus. We'll get back onto the analytics and give you guys the information that you need. Here we go. $377 last week for Destined Rivals. $378 this week. No change on Destined Rivals. Holding strong. Fairly close to its all-time high. I mean, all-time high average, 455. But realistically, those are going to be some outlier sales. It didn't last at that price for very long. So yeah, a little bit under $400 a box. Just remember, guys, this set is not old at all. Compare it to Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved, similar price right now. Almost exactly the same price. Paldea Evolved right on that $400 mark at the moment because it's had a bit of a pullback. We'll go into that in a moment. But it's had that 2.5-year run, Paldea Evolved. It's right at the end of its print window. Destined Rivals is just getting started. It's one of the best performing booster boxes on release of all time. Destined Rivals, mark my words, is going to be a monster over the next couple of years. And you know we're going to be following it each and every week down below. Let's then have a look at prices. Last sold in the US, $400. We're looking at US to US, so domestic pricing here. We will look at the arbitrage in a minute. But yeah, dead on the nose, $400 for Destined Rivals. A nice minty box there in a little soft plastic case. New listing tag as well, so bought out instantly on eBay for that $400 price point. Someone knew that was a steal to buy into Destined Rivals. I find it so funny that $400 boxes are just getting insta bought out now, but on release so many people were telling you not to buy it for $200. I just find it hilarious that we're a couple of months later and we're at double that price point and it's just getting bought out straight away on new listing tags. There is a bit of arbitrage going on here above. There's one going for $460 shipped in from the UK. yeah, make of it what you will. If you're in the US, it's kind of pointless doing that because you can pick them up for $400, especially if you're a little bit patient too. Last sold in the UK, 363 quid. Just right up there at all-time highs. Nothing more I can say really. It's pulled back a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but it's still holding way over retail price. And yeah, it's just a monster. Destined Rivals is a titan, and it just has not had any time yet. Give it some time, put that away for a couple of years. I myself have a case of it. It's not sealed case. I don't believe in case premiums or any of that nonsense. Bought them as single boxes and just spread out the cost on release. So very happy with my holdings there. Will not be selling it for a very, very long term. To be honest, where's my sell point on Destined Rivals? Where I hold 6 of them at the moment, and I will probably continue to buy them over the next couple of years as well. Realistically, I'm holding to 10k a box. There's no way in my eyes that Destined Rivals isn't 10k plus in 10 years time. Probably less time than that. 10k a box, I'd be happy to take profit on that. That might seem unrealistic to some people when I'm saying that out loud, but you have no idea how big products can run in a 10-year period. 10 years is a very long time to be holding a sealed product. And if you look at past performance of other boxes in the modern era, stuff like Team Up leading the way. Team Up is the most expensive booster box in the Sun and Moon era. That's regularly selling for 10 to 12k. There's no way, in my opinion, that Destined Rivals can't get there in a 10-year period. Team Up's got there in a 6-year period. All right, there's less Team Up put away, you could argue, but you can also argue that more Destined Rivals got ripped. It's just my personal opinion. I'll hold it to 10k. If it takes 10 years to get there, that's fine. If it takes 15 years to get there, that's fine in my opinion as well. From £180 to adds an average buy cost to 10k. Hey, if it takes a decade and a half, I'm happy. That's an insane profit margin for me. Let's then talk about Prismatic Evolutions. Prismatic Evolutions is one of the easiest plays in the market right now, holding up there at its all-time highs. Last week it was right up there, all-time high, at around about $140, $136 on the TCG player averages. Last sold $150. That's an all-time high on TCG player. It is an outlier sale from today. Previous sales before were $130, $130, $131, which is right up within $5 of where it was last week. But then we're seeing one outlier sale start to pull ahead just now. Obviously, one sale is too little data for us to just be like, that is the price now. But it's really positive to see last sale on TCG player at an all-time high. So technically up a little bit this week on Prismatic Evolutions. Again, not had enough time to run. They tried to print it into the ground. So much stock hit shelves with Costco, Sam's Club, etc. They just could not get it down to retail price. I think that Prismatic Evolutions is going to have a historic run as well. It's up there as one of the best sets of Scarlet and Violet, if not the best set. I think Destined Rivals is definitely the best booster box set, but like I said, there's some banger holiday sets in Scarlet and Violet. They really smashed it out of the park, and Prismatic Evolutions is one of them alongside 151. I think that 151 really laid some really good groundwork for Prismatic Evolution to have some positive price action. Obviously 151 had that charge up to $400 and is holding there. We will talk about that in a moment, but there's no way in my eyes that Prismatic, given a little bit of time, once it starts disappearing from the secondary market, I think that the price is just going to steadily climb up to that $400 mark as well. And then when we're talking long term, you know, Prismatic Evolutions, once it's out of print and the years start to tick by, the sky's the limit for it. It really is. Last sold in the US, $130. Honestly, guys, if you don't own a single one, I think you're going to kick yourself for not buying an ETB now for $130. $130 last sold. There's another one here on an auction as well from yesterday for $146, right up there at all-time high. And then you're seeing these like 115 ones get bought out straight away because people just know that that's a crazy price. I think we all know where Prismatic Evolutions is going. Even in the short term, it's going over 200 a box. Just give it a bit of time, let the supply dry up a little bit. It will get there pretty early into next year, I would guess. Next up, last sold in the UK, 150 quid, really creeping up there in price. That does come with an acrylic case, which we can assign a little bit of value to, 10, 15 pound value to that. So really we're looking at around about 140 a box in the UK. With the PC version, Insta selling out for 302. I think that's a pretty good deal. I kicked myself so much for not buying a PC ETB of Prismatic because I was so going to buy one when they were like $180. Sorry, £180. And I just waited another week until payday, and then they just shot up to like 300. And I was just like, I kind of can't justify that because it's a bit of a volatile investment, and it wasn't really for an investment. It was more just for personal collection. And I'm trying to like reduce down the space of my holdings as well, because I don't have a huge amount of space where I live. So I'm trying to just reduce the amount of ETBs that I'm buying. Obviously, you don't have a choice with holiday sets. It's got to be ETBs. So PC ETBs are sometimes the play if you're trying to save space, but you still want in on the holiday set, but you don't want loads of normal booster boxes knocking about. There's just more risk with them. They're more volatile. Higher risk, higher reward, though. It's just something you need to be aware of. If you're buying PC ETBs, yes, you can do very well, but you are taking more risk with your money. Let's then have a look at Journey Together. Moving on. Journey Together is one of those interesting ones where I think it's kind of like a mid to good set. It's kind of in that middle range to slightly good. It's struggling to break the top 5 of like best sets of Scarlet and Violet, but it's right up there. It's like set number 5 or 6 or 7. It's all very close there, in my opinion, of like best sets to invest in. However, as I've been commenting over the last couple of weeks in these videos, the state of the market right now means that there are some crazy opportunities and people are dumping products. Where people are dumping products, sets like this that people aren't 100% sure on that it's going to the moon, that's where you see the really good bargains, and we'll show you some in a moment. And you can really get into sets like Journey Together, Paradox Rift, sets like that, even Shrouded Fable to a certain extent, for way below market because people are dumping them. The paper hands are folding, and it is buying season for some of these sets. If you have faith and you know where these things are going to go long term, I'd see a lot of stuff, even from quite experienced investing channels on YouTube as well, because I do watch them too, talking about more and more that you should only buy into sets that are the home run sets. You should only buy Destined Rivals. You should only buy Prismatic. Why would you buy anything else? And I'll tell you why you would buy anything else, is because in times like this, where there's uncertainty and there's fear in the market, you will see crazy deals. And I will show you right now, because what I've been saying is going to come true has been coming true these last couple of weeks. There are deals to be had if you know your prices. So let's just start off with TCG player averages. So last week it was at $260, which up until very recently was the benchmark for all Scarlet and Violet sets. You know, the mid to low sets were all at that 260 mark, and then the better sets were higher, but there wasn't really much below 260 recently. Now let's have a look at prices. Last sold on TCG, 250. So and you're seeing it drop down here as well. You're seeing it go, look, 270 there, 252, 248, and now last sold 250. That's the cheapest it's been for a little while on TCG Player, and technically down $10 over the last 7 days on the averages. Let's just calculate that out. Why not? 10, 260. down nearly 4% over the last week. But like I said, these are just average prices. And whenever averages are falling, particularly on slightly less desirable sets, and Journey Together is not an awful set, but look at the deals you can have. Last sold, eBay US, $210. What? $210? That is the cheapest I have seen a Scarlet and Violet booster box sell for of any set for a very long time. That is a minty box as well. It's an enhanced box too. That is a steal of a bargain from someone who's dumping with zero feedback. They clearly bought into it to make a quick buck. Their heart wasn't in it. They're dumping it. 210 is nuts. That is so below market. And you're like, all right, well, it's $40 below market. Okay. $40 is 20% below market when market is already 4% down on last week and what, 10% down on its all-time high, something like that. So they're dumping this for 50% below its all-time high. Something like that. Is that right? Something like that. Either way, it's an insane bargain. $210. I'm telling you guys, if you know your prices and you're confident about what's happening with sealed long term, you can make plays on these sets that aren't the most desirable, right? When the market's running super hot and everyone's thinking everything's going to go up forever, then sets like Journey Together, sets like Temporal, sets like Paradox Rift that aren't the best sets. I mean, they're still good sets, don't get me wrong, but they're not the best sets of the era. When the market is hot and everything's running hot, they get artificially pumped up higher than they should be. When the market starts to cool, even a little bit, the paper hands start folding and these products start price correcting. That's why you're seeing stuff like Journey drop down to like 250. And when things start to correct, the people that really aren't in it for the long haul, the people who don't have the patience, will dump below the already insane correction. Okay, 250 is already a good deal to pick up Journey, especially for a minty enhanced box. Dumping for 210. Whoever bought that, well done. That is one of the best plays I've seen in the last 6 months or something. Whoever got that, kudos to you. I hope it was one of my viewers. If not, maybe one of my future viewers. We'll see. Deals to be had. Like I said, buying season, and the bleeding is only going to get worse. Like I said, over the next couple of months, lead up to Christmas, people's wallets are going to be hurting. The paper hands are going to be dumping boxes. I guarantee it. It's short term. This is just a great opportunity to get discounts and go shopping. If you've got the capital, if you've got the cash, and you're confident that these things are going to continue to go up next year, which I'm telling you, I am very confident they will do, especially at 210. You can't lose at 210. That is absolutely nuts. Will it go lower? It might do. It might do, but it's temporary. But I'm telling you, the bleeding is going to get worse before it gets better. But if you're willing to put these away for at least 2 years minimum, you're going to do very well. You're probably going to do well by February next year. You're probably going to be way up. But just be prepared that worst case scenario, at least 2 years. Ideally, 5 to 10 years. 5 to 10 years, you're laughing. You really, really are. But it's your product. If you've got the product, you've got the power. Don't let anyone tell you when to sell. When to sell is when it's right for you. And that's what I'm trying to preach with this channel. And that's what not many people will tell you as well. Okay. Last sold in the UK, 198 quid. Sub £200 a box. It's cheap. Non-enhanced version, though, to bear in mind. Just what we were saying earlier. The same thing that's happening with Mega Evolution enhanced boxes, we can see already from what happened with Journey Together. Now the enhanced ones over here in the EU are going for a massive premium because they're just rare. It's not as much of a play in the US. There's a lot more enhanced for both sets in the US. Let's see if we can find an enhanced one. I think it was further up actually. There you go, enhanced 275 for a nice minty box. So you can see the difference in price. The difference is £75 between the enhanced and non-enhanced, and that gap is going to get bigger as time goes on because it's just scarcity on it. Does not apply to US people though. Surgeon Sparks. Surgeon Sparks is another set that has been on sale recently because people are dumping it. Partly due to the fact that booster boxes are appearing in the wild. There's not much, but particularly in the US, I've seen a lot of stuff of like vending machines restocking them. Restocks are small and few and far between. However, you're going to get people that are dumping them. You're going to get people that don't care about Pokemon, your scalpers, etc., whatever you want to call them. My definition of a scalper is someone who buys a product, sells it straight away. Okay? Buys it from a vending machine for recommended retail price, it's on eBay the next night or the same night. That, to me, is the definition of a scalper. People who put product and seal product away for multiple months, multiple years, decades. That's not a scalper. That's a seal collector. Okay. And there's a big difference. And it really pains me to see people with such large platforms on YouTube and Instagram feed into that and feed into the fact that calling all seal collectors scalpers just because they don't agree with what we do. A lot of those people with those big platforms have bigger seal collections than I do. Okay, they just don't talk about it. They keep it very quiet. Some of them have $250,000 in sealed. Quite a few of them do actually, and a lot more as well. Actually, interestingly, I don't like promoting anything. This isn't a promotion, but Collector app, okay, where you can track your collection, as a lot of you will know about it. It obviously have public profiles. Some of those people that talk down on seal collectors have profiles on there that you can publicly view. You can see everything they own. And like I said, some of them have got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sealed. It's very irresponsible for people like that to talk down on sealed. And the reason why is because when they're broadcasting to thousands of people, some of them hundreds of thousands of people, some of them millions of people, when you add up multiple videos, 1%, 2% of those people aren't going to get the message and don't realize what's really going on. They're just going to take that as word and will get really offended. They'll go into shops, not be able to find things on shop shelves, and blame us as seal collectors because of what they've heard their favorite content creators say. And that is super dangerous. Okay. These people that say these things on platforms need to realize that even if it's 0.1% of their fans will then get aggressive towards us. And that can put people in dangerous physical situations. And I don't condone it at all. I'm speaking out about it because it's a very dangerous thing. Okay. If I've been approached in public, I haven't had problems. It's only ever been positive things, but I've been recognized in public from my videos. Okay. If one of those people, and you see them in comment sections, you see them on YouTube, you see them in Facebook group comment sections, they don't get it. Okay. They think that seal collecting or buying a seal product and putting it away is the reason that they can't get product, and they can get aggressive. Some of these people are mentally unstable. I think that there needs to be more awareness in the hobby about this. We need clear definitions on scalping, that scalping is buying a product, selling it straight away. The people that are actually part of the hobby, passionate about it and want to collect sealed product, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I think shame on those content creators that say otherwise, because they are putting people like myself, I mean, I can handle myself, but other people who are seal collectors is putting them at risk, and that is not okay in our hobby. And I'm speaking out about it. And if I hear more people speak negatively about seal collecting, I'm going to start calling them out, because that's not okay to put people at risk. Anyway, bit of a rant. Sorry about that. Had to be said. Story time over. Let's get on to Surgeon Sparks. Back onto the positive vibes. Surgeon Sparks is on sale, and it's crazy. Look at this. It hit all-time highs of average price point $300. at the end of September, which is not even that long ago. What was that, 8 weeks ago? And now we're seeing that bit of a pullback and people are just dumping it. Like I said, bit of supply hit in the market. But look at this last sold, 241. Sale before it, 263. Prices are all over the place between people buying and people dumping. There's huge opportunities out there. The fact that it's 241 on TCG Player is nuts. I mean, last week, technically it was averaging 247, so it's down $6. But when you look at its all-time high where it was a couple of weeks ago, and the fact that, look at this. Okay, look, small tear. So it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be like 10% under. But look, 215 a box. Okay, it's torn. So we can't go off of that. Let's go off of another one. That's a double listing, so we'll ignore it. Here we go. 245. New listing, bought out straight away. Like I said, the basement price was 260 not that long ago. And now we're getting buyouts. Buyouts on eBay for 245. People taking profit. Good opportunity to buy. Look, here's another one. 222 on an auction. What are we talking about, guys? Surging Sparks for 222. Insane opportunity to buy. Great opportunity to buy. If you can get it for that price, absolutely insane. Okay, slight tear on that one as well. Okay, 222. So let's just say market. On a buy it now. New listing tag, bought out straight away. 245. Even at 245, that's nuts. It was up there at $300 just a couple of weeks ago. Not that long ago. I think it will go back there. And again, hasn't had the time to run. These later Scarlet and Violet sets, and Surging Sparks is in those later blocks. It hasn't had time to run. Wait until Surging Sparks is 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old. 500 a box plus. Surging Sparks is up there as a decent set. It's better than average for Scarlet and Violet. I think that that's an excellent buy opportunity right there. And I think you'll continue to get more opportunities. Like I said, the bleeding is going to get worse for these people that don't have the patience. They are going to bleed. We could even see some boxes of Journey, Surging, Paradox, sub $200 a box before Christmas. We could easily see that happen. And that is just a great opportunity. And I'll tell you what, if these kind of sets drop to $200 and they're not hitting shop shelves, so there's no more supply, it ain't going to last for long. Because there ain't enough $200 boxes to go around for all the people that want them. People like me, people like you, that are up on our prices and know what's going on. If I was in the US and I saw Surging or Journey for anywhere close to $200, I'm buying it. I'm buying everything you got. Okay, if there's a case of them or a whole stack of them going for $200 a box, I'm in. Okay, just take my money. And there's a lot of people that think that way as well. So good opportunities to buy. 245 last sold in the UK. 271 case fresh. A little bit more expensive over here in the UK because we're not getting that stock and there's not as many people dumping. We are a smaller market. And yeah, just not as many scalpers in our market, not as many people being scared and dumping them. You're seeing, obviously, this is a dump, okay, at 271, because they've got a case and they're liquidating now. Surging Sparks is not that old. He wouldn't have held that case for that long. So, I mean, even if they'd have held it since release, okay, they're taking profit, but they haven't held it for that long. That, in my opinion, is a dump at 271 here in the UK market. A little bit more expensive, but I think it's only going to go up. Crazy as well that the ETB is going for 80 quid now as well. Very interesting. And then the Costco dual pack with the bundle going for 130. Very interesting. Anyway, let's move on. Paradox Rift, like I was saying, the less desirable sets, or let's not just say less desirable, the sets that people have less confidence in long term, like Paradox Rift. And obviously, if Paradox Rift is your favorite set, if you think it's going to go to the moon, there's no problem in that. I think that you will make money on Paradox Rift long term. However, when we're talking about the market as a whole and every single buyer in the market, we are not putting Paradox Rift as the best set in Scarlet and Violet. And I think you'll all agree with that. And when it's not the best set, it's not even a top 3 set, you're going to see price reductions. And as soon as you see these pullbacks in the market, you're going to see the bleed. And it's completely fine, guys. This is the best time. Like, you need to not look at prices going down as a negative thing. It's a super positive thing, because the only people that are bleeding are the people who don't believe, the people who aren't in this long term. This is great. Market shakedown, which was the title of last week's video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a shake-up and a shakedown of the market. It's just getting rid of all the weak people, the people that don't really care about the Pokemon. It's all the sneaker bros and the scalpers and all of that. That's good. Let them bleed. Let them bleed over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months until Christmas. You're going to see crazy dumps, and that's what we're seeing on sets like Paradox Rift, because they bought into Paradox Rift not knowing what was going to happen. I'm sorry, but I called it. I called it when it was up here. I called it when it was here. It's obvious to see, guys. We need to stop overthinking stuff. Like I said, when the market runs hot, everything's running hot. And it's hard to remember that when the market's not red hot, the best sets do the best. And the sets that aren't the best don't do the best. It's as simple as that. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds too simple to be true, but it really is. When Paradox was up here at $3.25 a box, I told you. I said it's overpriced. There's so many people in the comment section. No, you were wrong. We told you Paradox is going to the moon. Look, it's down as one of the cheapest sets again. TCG 261. Last week 270, down $9. Last sold 230. Multiple sales at 230, guys. It's dropping like a stone. Long term, is it going to go to 500 a box? Yeah, I'm confident it will, but it will take time. It's not going to get you rich quick. And that's where the uncertainty in the market is really showing itself. That's why these products are really starting to dump. Okay, because there is a pullback, because they were overinflated. It's not a bad set, but in terms of comparing it to Destined Rivals and Paldea Evolved, we're going to call it a bad set. Okay, in comparison, it is. Okay, it's a bad set, not for the art style, not for the chase cards. The art's great. Okay, it's a bad set in terms of its investment potential compared to other things you can get in the block. That's what I'm trying to say. Paradox Rift, don't get offended. It's not a bad set. It's got some really nice arts. Long term, I see it. $500 a box. But it's going to take years to get to that point. Okay? It's going to take time for it to get to $500 plus. But if you really believe in it, like I said, you get deals off of these people dumping it. Let's look at eBay. Look, this is really interesting. Last sold auction from yesterday night, most likely, because it's like early hours of the morning on the 1st of November in the US right now. It's about, it's still morning here in the UK. $233. Nuts. But I called it. When it was $3.20 a box, I said it's nuts. It shouldn't be up there right now. Long term, yes, it will get there, but 233. Opportunities opening up for people dumping. And it's not just a one-off, this 233. Let's scroll down, look. 260, buy it now. Located in Finland. Okay, someone imported one from Finland. I don't know if they realised they were doing that. 244, buy it now. Day before yesterday. So not only is it dropping, but there's buy it nows for some of the cheapest boxes in the Scarlet and Violet era. And I'm sorry, guys, we called it. It's not the best set. It's really not. Yeah. Last sold in the UK. Look at this. 170 quid. Multiple sales at 170. 175. 169. 170. All from yesterday. That's not a bad price to buy in at. Bear in mind, UK recommended retail price is what? 156? £14 over retail. Pretty good buy. I might actually buy another one, especially if it drops further over the next couple of weeks in the lead up to Christmas. If we in the UK see a retail price Paradox Rift, I will buy my first Paradox Rift product. Because for retail, that's a no-brainer. Even at 170, that's a pretty good buy. But, however, you've got to bear in mind, Mega Evolution, which there's a lot of about right now, it's probably the most circulated set right now because it's just come out. As in, there's the most supply on the secondary market changing hands. Is 220 a box. So for an extra 50 quid, I think I'd rather have more Mega Evolution, personally. Or get a prismatic ETB and some change. But if it continues to drop, which I think it will, not long term, but over the next few weeks, I think there will be some deals if you stalk eBay. I think you'll be able to pick that up even cheaper. Anyway, let's move on. Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces is a funny one because Temporal and Paradox are almost like brothers, even though one's in an older block and one's in the other block. Okay, let's stop this nonsense about this is in an older block, that's in an older block, that means this is in print for longer and all that. Okay, stop that nonsense. That applies in sealed collecting and investing when you have the top sets. Okay, when you have the sets that aren't super top, like aren't the best ones, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters more is when it gets reprinted. Okay, it doesn't matter when its print window ends. It matters when it gets reprinted, because you need to understand that with every era, Pokemon doesn't reprint every single set. It always picks one, maybe two sets that are low demand that it just doesn't reprint. Or it reprints a bit at the start of its print window and then that's it and you don't see any more. Like your Crimson Invasion, like your Ultra Prism, like your Rebel Clash. These were all not super popular sets, but they just never really hit their big reprints. And that is more important than what block it is for printing. Okay? Take this, for example. Okay? Temporal Forces is in a later block than Paradox, but Paradox is sinking like a stone, and Temporal is hitting all-time highs. So where does that apply? Because if you take the block printing theory, then Temporal should be much lower than Paradox. Okay, is Temporal overpriced right now? Maybe. It may be a little bit overpriced right now. But I do think it's a better set than Paradox, and I do think it will perform better over the long run, even though it's in a later print block. Okay, so just be very careful with that whole print block theory, because just because something's in print doesn't mean it's going to get reprinted. Okay, what you need to pay attention more to is how much it actually was printed within that window. That's what you need to pay attention to. Anyway, Temporal Forces. Last week, 269. 269 is crazy. Last sold 278. So it's up another, what, $9, which is, what, $2 is 10%. Sorry, $2 is 1%. $2.70. It's up like 3%, 3-4% over the last week, but it's up there at all-time highs as well. I do think it's a little bit overpriced at this 280 range. I like Temporal, but again, it's not one of the best sets. And you need to look at the other stuff in the market, okay? We were just talking about it. If Temporal's going for 270, should Surgeon be going for 230, 240? Should Journey be going for like 220? That just shows you how nuts the deals are on Journey and Surgeon right now. I do expect a little bit of a pullback on Temporal coming. But again, put it away long term. Who knows? You might get some deals in the market as well. Last sold on eBay. Look, strong. Last eBay sale, buy it now, 264. That's the highest we've seen on Temporal. Very strong for temporal. We'll keep an eye on it, as always. You know, subscribe down below. Never miss an opportunity. Temporal on a little bit of a run. Last sold in the UK here. 185. Day before yesterday. But then 2 sales for 175 as well. 175 is not bad for temporal. That's really not bad. Like I said, retail 156. So less than 20 quid over retail in the UK. Not too shabby. Especially if you're willing to put it away for a good while. Let's then talk about 151. We briefly touched on 151 earlier when we were talking about prismatic. It has really paved the way for where I think the other two big holiday sets are going to go. Paldean Fates and Prismatic Evolutions. It's hovering at that $400 price point. We've said for the last couple of weeks that's where we expect it to be, and expect it to continue to be for a good while. It could easily chill at 400 right up until Christmas. I wouldn't even be surprised. At some point, though, maybe before Christmas or just after Christmas, it's going to break and it's going to have its run up to $500. And it's just going to keep going from there. It may hover at $500 for a little while because, again, psychological price point, hard for it to break through 500, but it will eventually, and it will keep running. Long term, talking years and years and years later, looks like 151 ETBs are going to go to 1,000 a box, probably higher. But that's like years. You need to understand that it's not normal to see these huge run-ups in price in a short amount of time. That's just because the market has been red hot. Okay, but 151 will have more runs in the future, and I think it will pump up to that $1,000 price range given enough years. And I'm not talking about months, I'm not talking about 1 year, 2 year, I'm talking about years. Multiple. Okay, but I do think it will get there eventually, long term. Kind of just chilling this week. Last week it was at $408. This week actually 384, so down a little bit. Really wouldn't worry. It's knocking on the door of $400. The chance of 151 getting reprinted right now, you may get some more bundles, you may get some more blooming waters. I think that that's unlikely, and even if you do, it won't be that much. But 151 Elite Trainer boxes, I think they gone. I think they out of print. And you've got to remember as well, 151 is getting old now as well. 151 is over 2 years old now. It's sunsetting its print window. The logistics of them mass reprinting the ETB, I think they've got too much other stuff they got to focus on right now. They focused way too heavy on prismatic reprints and let 151 run away like a train. And I don't think it's coming back to the station. I think it's gone. I think that 151 Elite Trainer boxes are going to be a monster over the next couple of years. Last sold in the US, PC ETB going for $912, and the normal one going for $374. And that's on a buy it now. And then also an auction from yesterday going for $365. So a little bit under that $400 price point. I think it's your last opportunity to buy in under $400, to be honest. And even though it's come down a bit from that $400 range, I don't see it falling much further. I think that that's kind of the floor. This 360 is mad. I think that you'll never get it cheaper than that again. And I think that it's just a matter of time until it punches through $400 and has it run up to $500. And I think the resistance between 400 and 500 isn't going to be much. Once it starts going, once you start seeing 5, 6, 7 sales of 420, 425, 430, it's just going to go boom, and overnight it will be 500. And then that's it. No more 400, no more $365 boxes. It's gone. New price point, $500. It'll struggle to go through $500. It will be like 500, 500, 480, 475, 500, 500, 475. The same as what we're seeing now with the $400 price point. Last sold in the UK, 355. PC ETB going on auction for 321 with a case. Here we go. Release date, September 22nd, 2023. I'm talking a lot in the hobby about how time just goes by so fast. As someone who's been doing this for nearly 10 years, putting product away, I started with XY Evolution. putting product away. Look at that, September 22nd, 2023. That will make you feel old. I remember 151 coming out like it was yesterday. That does not seem. It's more than 2 years old now. It's 2 years and 2 months, nearly. That's nuts. 151 sunset in its print window. Good investment if you ask me, if you don't already have some. And if you can't afford to buy into it, you can't afford to buy into the ETB. Grab yourself a bundle. The bundles aren't bad prices, to be honest. It's a good way to buy into the product. Let's move on then. Paldea Evolved. Paldea Evolved, like I said, falling from grace a little bit. Was the most expensive booster box, peaked at $470 price point at the start of October. Starting to come down a little bit now with the price corrections in the market cooling off a little bit temporarily. Average price point last week, let's see, $439. Last sale, $393. Dropping quite a bit there. But if we actually look at last sales from last week, 25th, let's see if we can get one close. 24th, $430. This week, down $37. $37 on $430. Paldea Evolved down 8.6% from last week, and down quite a bit from its all-time high as well. I do think it's one of the best sets. It is definitely top 3 for booster box sets of Scarlet and Violet. I wouldn't worry long term about it. Like I said, when you put things away for 2+ years, 4, 5, 6 years, this just seems like nothing. This little drop down in price just gets smoothed out. Even if we zoom out on the year chart, it's just upward. When you average things out, it's just upward. You just need to be able to zoom out a little bit sometimes to see what's going on with the product. But last sold, look at that, $393 on TCG Player. Where's my Destined Rivals at? Destined Rivals, last sold TCG Player, $378. When you actually look at eBay listings though, it's within $6 from the last sales. So they're right neck and neck for the best set or the most expensive set in the era, which is kind of crazy if you ask me. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't think Destined Rivals would pull ahead as the most expensive set this early into its print run. Like I said, do I think that they're going to make more Destined Rivals? Yeah, I'm pretty certain of it. But is it going to be enough for it to affect the price long term? No, I don't think so. Last sold on eBay for Paldea. Look at this. Yeah, $406 last sold on an auction. And the Destined Rivals was $399 last sold. So within $6 of each other, $7 of each other for all-time highs on last sales this week. I think that given enough time, Destined Rivals will massively increase that gap and really pull ahead of Paldea Evolved. Like I said, Paldea Evolved is pretty much out of print now. It's over 2 years old. Destined Rivals is definitely not out of print yet. But don't look at that as a negative. Don't look at it as, oh, they're going to print more of it, so that's a bad thing. It's not out of its print window yet. No, it's super strong that it's like one of the most expensive boxes and it's still so new. And if they reprint it, great. Like, people are so obsessed with the fact of like prices coming down as a bad thing. No, it's a fantastic thing. We can buy more for cheaper. And when prices have come down as well, you're off the all-time high. So you have even more faith buying it, because what's the likelihood that it will reach a new all-time high? Okay, that's X. What's the likelihood it's going to climb back up to an all-time high that it's already hit? Much more likely. Much more X than previous X. If that makes sense. Sorry. Last sold in the UK, £332. I'm just being silly now at this point. Let's move on with the analysis. Twilight Masquerade, much more X than X. Last week, Twilight Masquerade was at $313. This week, $305. So down $12. Twilight Masquerade, really wouldn't worry. Twilight Masquerade getting up there in age as well. decent investment, not that far from its all-time high. If you zoom out, it's pretty healthy on the chart. In fact, we've seen this before. We've seen a big climb up, a price consolidation, climb up, price consolidation, climb up, price consolidation. It's just doing the same thing, and it is still just going upwards there on the chart. I think it's very unlikely we're going to see more Twilight Masquerade booster boxes hit the market. I think that's it for now. I think we can sunset it away and pretty much say that it's out of print as we can with Paldea Evolve booster boxes. Even if they do get reprinted, it's going to be so small that it's not really going to make a difference on it long term. We are seeing a bit of a pullback in the market, but I expect Paldea Evolved and Twilight Masquerade and sets like that to have a really good year next year. And it's just got to get through the cold winter. That's all it is. Last sold in the US, instant buyout, new listing tag, $310. Last sold in the UK, £199. It's up £200 a box. Oh, okay, with a rip in it. Oh, God, I hate when people do that. At least he listed it in the title. There we go, one without a rip on an auction for 201 for you. Honestly, it's not worth buying ripped boxes if you're going to put them away for a while. You're better off paying 10%, 20% over market to get a minty box, because that will mean nothing to you when the product 2x's, 3x's. And it's so much easier to sell a minty box further down the line, and you'll get the highest price point then as well. You can then sell it for a premium further down the line. Let's then look at Obsidian Flames. Obsidian Flames is off its all-time high as well, a little bit, but still very close to it. Obsidian Flames is such a creeper set. Again, early set in Scarlet and Violet. Very unlikely we're going to see more booster boxes of that hit the market. Last week, it was an average of 329. This week, 290. So technically, on the averages, down $39. $39. Let's have a look at actual last sales though. 329 last week. Yeah, 290. So let's calculate that out to be fair. So 39 on 329. Obsidian Flames down 11% this week. And I'm telling you, Obsidian Flames, not the most popular set going forward. Not one of those top sets. If it's down 11% on the averages, someone's going to dump it for 10% below that. 10% below market, 20% below market. You're going to see it. You just need to stalk them. Last sold 285 on eBay auction. Still pretty healthy. Last sold in the UK 225. Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates down a little bit on its all-time high. Continuing to bleed a little bit. Not much, though. I really don't think that it's going to come down in price much more than where it's at right now. $281 last week. $269 this week. So that's down $12, which is about 4%, 3.84%, something like that. Good opportunity to buy. Last chance to buy into Paldea, sub $400 a box. May get a little bit cheaper over the next couple of weeks lead up to Christmas. You need to understand as well with this whole Christmas thing that it's not just the Pokemon market. Okay, it's not the fact that the Pokemon market was running really hot. Okay, all investment markets hurt in the lead up to Christmas. It's just a fact, because people pull money out. They liquidate stuff, they sell off investments, they sell stocks, they sell gold, they sell silver. People liquidate at Christmas because people's wallets are hurting, and it's an expensive time of year. Always happens. Always happens in any market. It happens in the Bitcoin crypto market. Loads of people pull out money out of Bitcoin in the lead up to Christmas. Almost always it dips. Same is happening with Pokemon, especially where there's a little bit of fear starting to creep into the market, a little bit of uncertainty. Like I said, paper hands are starting to fold, starting to dump. Good opportunity to buy if you've got the capital and you know what you're doing. There's deals to be had. Let's then move on to Evolving Skies, the big boy of the Sword and Shield era. We've got to start with the king, TCG player, 2 sales over the last week, 2400, 2300. Let's have a look at eBay. Last sold auction 2500 with a case, although a case doesn't really matter at this kind of price point. Another one here for 2450. Both sold from yesterday. Positive, just holding at about that price point. Last week, I think we saw a few sales at about 2200, 2300, that kind of thing. So it's back up to its 2500 range. Seems to be the kind of agreed price right now. Bear in mind, it's right up there at all-time highs, guys. They're not making any more Evolving Skies. It is one of the best sets of the last 10 years. It's a monster. There's no way Evolving Skies doesn't follow Team Up and become a 10, 12k box, given enough time. It just needs time to run. Just needs time. It's already flexed and it's already shown how much potential it has to grow. I think that you're going to see a big run on it over the next 5 years. Over the next 5 years, I think it will get up there. It will push over 5k a box and probably much higher. But we'll just have to wait and see. It is the GOAT set. Last sold in the UK, 2,200. Again, new listing tag, bought out straight away. Nice minty box. It's just kind of flat at the moment. It's kind of flat at that $2,500 mark and that £2,200 mark. That's about average market price. But you've got to remember, that's right up there at all-time highs. Yes, you might have seen a few sales that push up over that a few months ago, but it wasn't many. The average price and the average market price is about what it's selling for right now. Really positive. And I think that it's easily the best Sword and Shield set. We all know that already. If you look at the best performing sets of previous eras, they all push up way over 6k a box. Obviously, you got Team Up at like 12k a box. I think that Evolving Skies will follow in those footsteps. It just needs more years. But we'll follow it every week, as we always do. Fusion Strike then. Fusion Strike is down a little bit, actually. Just bouncing around that $1,000 mark, though. It's a little bit of sugar on top of the cake. You know, you get an extra 25 bucks back out of £1,000 or $1,000 purchase. That's all it is. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a little bit of sugar on the cake. It's not falling. It's not crashing. It's chilling at $1,000. It's a very psychological price point. It will chill there for a little while, I believe. Let's have a look at eBay, though. eBay's a more interesting story. We're seeing one sale here, last sale at $900. That is a steal because the agreed price point is $1,000. And you can see from the sale before it, same day, $975. So the fact that it went for $899 is kind of crazy. That's a dump. Someone got a really good deal there. I'm still confident that market price is $1,000 for Fusion Strike, and I think it'll probably chill at about that until Christmas. You may see a bit of a variance, a swing, sort of 5 to 10% either way. We could see sales as high as, you know, 1,100, 1,200. You could see sales as low as, that's about the lowest I reckon you'll see at about $900. But healthy, right up there at all-time highs, nothing to worry about. Last sold in the UK, £635. Let's then talk about Lost Origin. I've said for a long time Lost Origin is a little bit undervalued compared to where Fusion is. $730 this week. Averages, look, if you look at the averages, this is where the charts are a bit messed up. Averages, say it was 801 last week, and it's 730 this week. So that would tell you that it's down nearly 10%, $70. But it's really not, because if we look at last sold for last week, look, 25th, there's just not that many being sold. And the average price chart is just correcting itself to where market actually is. Because look, last week it was 730 on the 25th. This week it is 730. So it just hasn't moved. The fact that these sets aren't moving when the rest of the more modern sets are having a bit of a pullback is actually really strong for them. And I do think that Lost Origin is undervalued and it should be up there at that $1,000 range where Fusion is. And I think it will get there fairly soon. Last sold in the US, $689. Last sold in the UK, £650. So we're paying a little bit more for it over here when you take into account the conversion rate. Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance, let's have a look. Astral Radiance has No sales data for the last week. So just no one buying it on TCG Player. Like I said, guys, some of these sets that are like not the top sets, they're just not traded as much. And once time goes on, there's just not as much sales data. Look at that. Last sold on TCG Player was on the 22nd of the 10th. Or if you're in the US, the 10th of the 22nd. However you want to say it. Yeah, kind of crazy. No sales data over the last week. Right up there at all-time highs. Last sold in the US yesterday on eBay, $379 on a buy it now. However, on an auction, same day, $335. That's a really good deal. And you can see the variance there in the difference between a auction and a buy it now. It's over 10% variance. So something interesting to bear in mind. Kind of crazy as well that even on the buy it now at $380, that makes it cheaper than an imprint Destined Rivals and a almost out of print Paldea Evolved in the next era. That's kind of crazy. So do you still want to talk to me about print blocks? Because never mind about print blocks, like Astral Radiance is in a whole different era and it's cheaper than Destined Rivals that's just been printed. So make of that what you will. Last sold in the UK. I know I'm going to get flamed in the comments, by the way, for calling out print blocks, but I don't care. Like, if you've got a different opinion, that's cool. Make your plays on that. That's great. I'm not trying to tell you that you're wrong. I'm just trying to say what my opinions are. And it's okay to have different opinions on stuff like that. If you want to make a play on print block letters, great. I hope you make money from it. I really do. Me personally, much rather just go with sure things that I know about. And like I said, tried and tested. Good sets, good. Bad sets, bad. When the market's hot, you can't see that. The smoke comes over the whole market and everyone gets blinded and they're like, oh, everything's going to the moon. This box is cheaper, so I should buy this box. Not necessarily. You saw a lot of people get caught out with Paradox Rift over the last couple of months with that exact mindset. Anyway, last sold in the UK for Astral Radiance. Out of print Sword and Shield set. I would say one of the top 6 sets. Top 5, maybe. It's at that 5-6 mark. For Astral Radiance, £343. Sorry. Pretty good deal, if you ask me. Let's then move on to Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith pretty flat in this market right now. Last sold 213. Average price beforehand was broken chart. Brilliant TCG Player. Let's just scroll down a bit then and see what it was. 219 last week. Last sale 213. So technically down $6, which is like 3%, just under 3%. However, sale beforehand 228, which is actually higher than last week. It's up like $9. So make of it what you will. Very close to its all-time highs. Once we zoom out, let's have a look. Right up there at all-time highs. I think that Crown Zenith is just going to keep chugging along like it always does. It's not going to make you rich overnight. I don't think there's going to be big buyouts and big volatile price movements on it. There could be, but I think it's unlikely. I think the most likely thing is once you just zoom out over a long time horizon, you're going to see pretty consistent, solid growth from Crown Zenith. Let's then have a look at last sold on eBay US, $195. That's really cheap to get a sub $200 box there. That's from yesterday as well on a buy it now. And you can see, look, same day people are paying $224, which is top of the market for it. So yeah, deals to be had. 10% off, more than 10% off if you know what you're looking for in the market and you know your prices. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. And if you're enjoying this video, please do hit the like button. It really helps me out and it costs you nothing. So pause the video now, scroll down, give me a little like, and then we'll continue. Have you done it yet? Last sold in the UK, £229. Thank you for doing it, those that did it. You're my favourite people. If you didn't do it, boo. Don't like you anymore. No, I'm lying. I love you really. Um, let's move on then. Brilliant Stars. Brilliant Stars. Actually, Brilliant Stars is an interesting one because Brilliant Stars had its blast through $500. And we expected $500 to become a resistance point, but then it just like snapped back to $500. Like really had quite an aggressive snap back to $500, which I didn't think was going to happen. I thought it was past that now. But partly due to the market pulling back and people focusing on other things as well. I think if you can get anything for sub $500 now for Brilliant Stars, it's a really good buy, and I don't think you'll ever see it again. I'm surprised you can get it now for under $500. I don't think it will fall much further. Last sale on TCG $490. I think it will quite quickly over the next few months correct to way over $500. Silver Tempest is on the other side of that $500 mark. It never had that breakthrough of 500 yet, so it's bouncing below. And it's going to struggle a little bit more with this market. Last sold, look at it, 421, 420. That's so cheap for it. Last opportunity to buy Silver Tempest. I can't believe that Silver Tempest is still like sub $500, to be honest. With that Lugia Chase card, I think that it's just going to take time. And as time goes on, people are going to realize how stupid the price is. It's one of the best cards of the era. I think that Silver Tempest is going to go on a really good run with its brother, Brilliant Stars. I kind of bunched them together sort of price-wise, and I think that they're both going to have a really good run next year. Good opportunity to buy in. Chilling Reign, down a little bit on its all-time high as well. Similar to Brilliant Stars, had that push way over 500, peaked up to an average of 576 in the end of September, and it's down quite a bit now. It's selling for under 500. Like I said, like with Brilliant Stars, the fact that this is even selling for under 500, I didn't think we'd see those days again. So good opportunity to buy in. The fact that there's pullback as well. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of Chilling Reign hitting the market. It's just not got that much supply. It's not going to be traded as much. It will be traded, just not as much. You might get lucky and you might catch someone dumping one for way below market. You might get someone cashing out for 450 or something like that. If you see something like that, it's just crazy. That's an instant buy in my books. Let's finish off then. We like to look at something different at the end of each episode, and this caught my eye when I was sort of scrolling through other price points. I was looking at Obsidian Flames booster boxes, and this popped up. Look at this. So I don't know how I feel about graded modern booster packs, but look at this. I mean, you can't argue with the sales data, and it seems to be this guy's got a bit of a monopoly on it. Not after this video, I don't think. I think I've called him out for his plays. This guy right here is selling multiples of them here. So he obviously just graded a load of Obsidian Flames packs. And look at what the Tyranitar pack sold for in a PSA 10. $88 plus shipping. That is nuts that someone is paying $88 for a graded Obsidian Flames booster pack. Kind of crazy if you ask me. You can see the PSA 8 is going for $30. You can see the PSA 9 is going for $31. Kind of crazy that sold for $88. That was a punt price, as in they put that up as a, hey, you know, like, let's just see if someone's stupid enough to pay $88 for that. I've had a look since. For like $30, $40, you can buy a PSA 10 Charizard one. So this is not a play, guys. Okay, it's not a play because it's really low demand, as in there's not many sales of them, and it could very quickly have a flooded market. Like, it's not like Obsidian Flames packs are rare. They're not. So the market could easily get flooded way more than the demand for people buying them. Me personally, I would never buy an Obsidian Flames graded pack, particularly in 2025. Ask me again in 2035, maybe, I guess, but still probably not. Just thought it was super interesting because technically it's a sealed product. It's a sealed booster pack, and it went for $88, and it's modern. Kind of nuts. But just thought that was interesting to point out. Let me know down below what you think. Would you pay, never mind $88, but would you pay for a modern sealed booster pack, maybe your favourite set in a PSA 10? Would you buy an Evolving Skies pack in a PSA 10? That's kind of cool. I might buy that. It depends on the price. But again, I don't really know. Maybe as an investment piece, a PSA 10 Evolving Skies pack might actually be a good play. Let me know down below what you think. I'm really curious what you guys think, because obviously I have my own opinion on it, but this is a new market. This is a new market for sealed. A modern graded pack going for that kind of price. And it's not the best set. Anyway, please subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity if you're not subscribed already. And please do hit that like button if you haven't already. If you did it earlier when I asked you to, then bonus points to you. Also as well, join club down below. You can pay a monthly fee. I'll connect to you on Instagram, answer all your questions. Works best for people who are like going to be spending a lot on sealed over the next few months. I can help guide you with that, recommend auctions to buy, and I'll probably save you or make you a lot more money than you would have spent on the subscription. So that's what that service is for, if anyone wants it. But yeah, join club. There's a link down below for it, or you can go on to my normal page from a computer. I don't think it always works on mobile app, and there'll be a join link, and you can join if you would like, or you can just support the channel that way as well if you want. It's a couple of dollars each month, and there's different tiers, so if you just want to chuck me a couple of dollars, I'd appreciate it, but you don't have to. All of this content is free for everyone if they want. Anyway, have yourselves a wonderful day. Peace.